Hey everybody, it's Dave again, back after only a few days, which is pretty much a record, I think. Go from the longest layoff to the shortest layoff between streams. But I wanted to bring you guys all in today on something that I just came in today. It's a real gem, something I don't see absolutely every day, and thought I would just, have a nice short casual stream, bring it all in. So what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, is I'm going to point the camera down at what I've got and describe it while I invite a few people in from some of the various Facebook groups. So if you don't mind, since I am a one-man show these days, I'm going to go over here to my computer and see what's going on. You have to bear with me. Again, it's just a one-man show. I'm going to point this guy down, and hopefully you can see what's going on there. Okay, make that a little bit more visible. So I'm gonna share our little live stream in a few groups. Bring a few more people into the conversation while you gaze upon what we're looking at here. I'll describe that in just a few minutes. Once again, this is Dave at the brass bench, doing a casual stream. Today, what you're looking at here is a Scherzer D rotary trumpet from the 1950s, approximately. This just came in today. I'm going to be taking it apart. I won't have it in my hands very long. So I want to share this little gem with everybody. Let's see. I don't want to bring in absolutely everybody in the world. I mean, our trombone player is going to really care too much about a D rotary? Maybe. I doubt it. I don't know. Maybe. All right. I believe I've invited a good number of people who might be interested in what we're doing here. I'm going to bring the camera back up to my lovely visage, and we'll talk for a few seconds about what I'm doing here. So, back to it. Once again, this is Dave from the Brass Bench, and I am working today on a lovely little Scherzer D rotary trumpet from the 1950s. It's a top action rotary, which we see a lot these days. See, they're rotary valves, but it's a top action. With rotary trumpets, normally what you see is you'll see a trumpet that's kind of oriented like this. The bell goes underneath, and the lead pipe will go straight into the valve section. So you get a lead pipe that's very short, then you have a long tuning slide and bell section after that. And generally you hold them on the side, play like this. This is one of those mechanisms. I'll get the mechanism a little closer to you there. See, it's has these dual articulations here. It's articulated in this orientation and then underneath in that orientation, and that allows a very nice smooth top action, which directly drives the rotor like that. Okay? And I'm going to, in a few seconds, I'm going to point this down at the bench. I'm going to disassemble this, ready for cleaning, and discuss what's going on with this. This is a, like I said, this is a Scherzer or Scherzer. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Somebody please come on in and let me know how to pronounce it. Is it with a sh or a sk? Scherzer. It says Augsburg underneath. You can hardly read the engraving because of all the tarnish. And then underneath, model Professor A. Piechler, Piechler. So Professor A. Piechler decided this would be a good thing to do. I'm going to point the camera down in a few minutes. Hi, Scott. Scott said he's always heard Scherzer, so have I. I believe that is the right way to pronounce it. But I'm asking everybody else. One of these days, Scott, we should have you on with your trumpets. Scott assembles some very interesting instruments. Anyway, so now that I've invited a few people in, people are watching, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my usual thing. I'm going to turn the camera around to the other side of the camera so that you'll very temporarily see my pegboard. I'm going to turn everything around, point it down at the bench, and discuss what we're doing and why we're doing it. Okay, so bear with me as I get notified again by Facebook, something that's absolutely not worth considering. Okay, that is my pegboard, and now I am going to... Now the reason I do this, and I'll probably say this in practically every episode, the reason I do this is that when I turn the camera around and I point it down at the bench, I can no longer see your comments. So I've got my laptop off to the side, and now I can see your comments. So please do type your comments in there and let me know what you'd like to know, what you're thinking, how you're feeling, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So back to it. Like I said, this is a gem of a trumpet. I know it looks very tarnished, but trust me, I can't find a dent on it. Dents will probably be revealed when it's cleaned. It's in for a cleaning and, quote, anything else, but I really don't think there is anything else. Hopefully there won't be anything else, because it is possible with an old instrument like this that has just been sitting untouched for years and years and years, that you're going to have some issue on disassembly. So that's what I'm doing today, is I am disassembling this rotary trumpet, this model Professor A. Piechler, made by Scherzer in Augsburg. We believe it's from the 1950s. So one of the big issues that we have here with this, I mean, as you can see, it's tarnished. That's no big deal. That's nothing. A lot of the surface tarnish will come off in the ultrasonic cleaning. One of the issues we have here is that there hinge rod all the way through. It's affecting this nut here, and there's some other tarnish underneath with the screw that attaches the lever bridge, and that's of concern. I would like to extract this screw without damaging it if possible. Same thing here with this nut and the hinge rod. Everything else is moving pretty freely as far as I can tell. So that's going to be of concern. Let's take the slides out first thing. Here's the main tuning slide. I'm going to extract it. It's operating freely. It does need some grease. But it's pretty quick, easy extraction there. Not bad. I'm gonna get my paper towel. This blue glove, by the way, it's I injured my hand. I cut my thumb a little bit earlier in the day in a non-work related injury, and I don't want to infect it or anything like that. Okay, so this is the tuning slide, and probably from your angle that you can see it right now, it looks pretty much like any other tuning slide. But if you look at it from the side, I'm going to look at my laptop to see that I've got it oriented properly so that you can see it. There's a little delay here, so just bear with me while I wait for the delay to catch up. If you look at it from the side, you'll see that the tuning slide is actually bent this way. Let's see. There's quite a delay, so I'm hoping that you're seeing what I'm seeing, which is that it's not in a plane with the slide legs. It's bent in order to allow movement of the third slide for tuning underneath, because the third slide pull nib is on that side. So that's interesting. It's bent that way, which means that the water key has to have an angle to it. Standard water key, except for the fact that it's been angled to accommodate the bend here. Clever way to do it. Usually with these smaller instruments, you got a lot of mechanics going on in a short space, and you have to do things like bend tubes in odd directions. That's usual, that's unusual. Third slide, let's pull that out, it has a pull nib on it. Typical third slide pull. Once again, this is a D trumpet. If it's looking really small to you, it's because it is. The second valve is not a slide. It is just a soldered tube, as you will see on many of these high-keyed trumpets. One of the advantages of the ultrasonic machine is that the ultrasonics will get into there and will clean anything that happens to be in there. It's honestly, I don't think there's likely to be a lot of junk in that tube, mainly because it's played in this orientation, and any water probably drains down and away. But it's an advantage of the ultrasonics. Pulling the first slide, and it's in really good shape. Again, the tarnish means nothing. Really. It's all going to go away in the cleaning process. There you go. So there's our first slide, our third slide. I'm going to set those aside. Our interesting main tuning slide. The second slide does not come out. Now we have the rotary valves. Going to unscrew these. I had them off earlier. Noticed that they were on the wrong on the wrong rotors. Does that matter? Well, not really. Almost certainly not. And again, when I take these out, I like to give them a swipe. The reason I like to give them a swipe is that if there's any grease and stuff on there, easy dirt that can come off, that's work that the ultrasonic machine doesn't have to do. And so we can see these bearing plates. Now these valves are all pretty well aligned. They're aligned with natural cork. Do I want to keep that or not? And it's a good question because the cork looks to be in fairly decent shape, but there is some deterioration. And I believe I'm very likely to replace this natural cork with more natural cork. I could put Buna N on there, or silicone cord. Silicone cord would produce a feel that's a little more similar to natural cork. but a little bouncier. It would be firmer, bouncier. Natural cork is, you know, there's really no substitute for it. It's the very best feel in terms of any bumper on any rotary valve. And these are in pretty good shape, and it's pretty well aligned. The first valve is a little under-aligned. That could be, this cork could be trimmed to make it align better, but the rest of them are bang on. It's a consideration. Again, very likely I'm going to get some natural cork stick and replace those corks. So first I'm going to, now one of the things I do, I have egg crates, and on some of them I number them, and I keep parts in the egg crates in order. Keeps them in order, keeps them from rolling off the bench and that sort of thing. So I'm going to take that's why I had you guys on. I'm hoping that you'll see that I have a little bit of a problem one way or another. And you know, it's like watching a professional golfers. You don't watch them to hit, well, you do watch them to hit beautiful strokes, but you also watch them to see how they get out of trouble. So that's from number 3. And number 2. You know, with an instrument as old as this, you really, you have to be careful. Anything can happen. Something could snap off, and then replacement parts might not be available, and then you have to make a part. Making a part is sometimes easy, sometimes difficult. So you have to be extremely careful. But what you do, okay, there. All the linkages are now separated from the rotors. So at this point I could either extract the rotors or I could take off the linkages. I would really like to take these off and clean them separately rather than leave them on the trumpet. I think I'm going to take these off now. And this is where I am likely to experience all of the problems I'm going to have today. I'm going to use a trick, not a trick, a technique that I learned recently from a video that got shared around repair techs. And this video was a guy removing rusted lug nuts from a pickup truck axle, tire, wheel, and axle. And he was using a candle and one of these. That's all he was using, a candle like from, you know, a tabletop dinner candle. I'm using a chunk of paraffin wax, which is what candles are, really. Dinner candles are just, you know, paraffin. Some candles are beeswax, but these are, we're talking about paraffin wax candles. And another thing you can do, so I'm heating the bottom of it, and I'm going to touch the paraffin wax in, and yeah, it does create something to clean up. And this is amazing. These like really rusted lug nuts just boom came right off with paraffin. Hang on just a second. Gonna get my little grippy thing here. Now that's turning nice and freely. Yeah, it's pretty frozen. It's pretty frozen. Another thing I can use that I have success with, and this is what I used before a lot, and it's a solution called corrosion cracker from our supplier Freeze. J88 corrosion cracker penetrating oil. That stuff is really good. It's really stinky though. I mean, really stinky. Okay, this has been grabbed with pliers before. Clearly needs to be grabbed again. All right, so I'm gonna try it again. A little more wax. Sometimes you have to do it several times. You know what? I'm going to use a little more heat than that too. I'm going to pull out my butane torch, point it up so I don't set my bench on fire. I only set my bench on fire once or twice a year on average. Now it's nice and hot. And I'm going to do the same thing to this screw down here. Can you see how green that is? That screw. I'm really worried about that. I'm worried that that nickel silver screw head is going to snap off as soon as I apply torque to it. That wouldn't be any fun. Okay, I am going to use the old parallel jaw pliers to try to move this without marring up the knurling, if I can. Oh, and it moved. Check that out. There we go. The candle trick, folks, it works. I'm telling you, it's a tool that everybody, just about everybody has. There's that nut. Set that aside. I'm going to extract these levers one by one. Now the spring, I'm worried about the spring. I'm worried I may have to wind these springs from phosphor bronze wire. The spring goes through the lever there, you see? And if these don't come out of the tank nice and clean and free of corrosion and all that, then I may have to wind some new springs. Not the worst thing in the world. I'd like to avoid it if possible. But, yeah, come on out of there. There we go. Take the levers off. Those are all going to get cleaned separately. And you can see here, you can see the two articulations. See, there's a pivot here, and there's a pivot here, which makes it nice and free as it goes up and down. I see I've already destroyed my glove. I'm going to take that off and put a new one on. Alright, so that worked well. Now, the one thing I'm really concerned about, by the way, the paraffin wax, easy to get off. Hot water in the rinse sink. This is what I'm the most worried about. I mean, the steel was not going to snap. I mean, it wasn't going to snap. This screw might snap. And then I would be a very sad daddy. Okay, now I just did something I do a lot of. My wax. All right, this I'm gonna use the hot heat again of the butane torch. I'm gonna try to pull it in from both sides before I attempt even think about attempting. Now this is a big heat sink with this lever bridge here. And so it may take quite a bit of effort to get this hot. There we go. I'm going to try to get some wax in from the other side. This is where, oh, there we go. The amazing thing about this candle trick is the only thing you have to worry about is expansion of parts. You don't have to worry about whether the parts are still hot, but you do have to worry. Thanks, Scott. You know what? I'm not a technician without a few burn marks on me. I don't know if you caught my last show or not, but I related the fact that one time I burned the hair off of my left forearm completely once before I even knew it. Suddenly I'm like, it smells like burning hair. I wonder what's on fire. The answer was me. the slot on this screw is enormously, now that's a bit of an oxymoron, it's really thin. Really thin slot on this screw here. It is defying me, so we're going to have to do it again. A little more heat, a little more paraffin. We had to do the other one twice. Why not this one? This is the one that's really concerning me. Now, one of the things that is true is that all of your liquids, penetrating oil, solder, flux, whatever liquid you're working with, will flow toward heat. So I was trying to aim the flame in toward the threads of the screw. Let's let that cool down a bit. Parts expansion could be affecting what's going on here. All right, in the meantime, I am going to extract these screws, the rotor stop armature screws. I generally like to just loosen them with my large screwdriver, and then I will take them out with my I'll extract them with my good old, this is a General 1/8 by 4. In case you want to know. I mean, repair techs can be like real screwdriver freaks. Come out. One of the hardest screw types to replace on these rotary valves. I've burned knurl marks in. Yeah. I've done that. These rotor stop armature, these half rounds, are some of the hardest screws to replace. If you lose one, break one, whatever. Half round screws are not something that you in these styles are not something that you find readily at your local Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. All right, so this is cool again. I am going to try to extract this screw. Nope. Oh. I'm just bitching the screw head up. That's pretty rough. Well, I called it. I said it was going to be the most difficult part, and indeed it's being the most difficult part. All right, so let's take out these rotary valves. Let's do something productive instead of just something non-productive. I will try the corrosion cracker in a few minutes. And you got a lot of tools in your bag. The thing I'm doing here, this is called a drift, a bearing drift. And I'm putting a brass rod on. Excuse me a second. I need to control the trumpet just a bit better than I am. And that's going to be with a cloth under there. So I'm trying to push the rotor out. I've got that on top of the rotor shaft. Wow, those are really stuck. All right, I have another little tool here that I made. Let me see if I can find it. It should be right here, but of course, I've moved a lot of things around lately. and it's a really tiny tool. So I am not seeing it where it usually lays. Well, if I can't find it, I'm just going to have to do without it. Excuse me for a minute. Well, I'm going to have to do without that tool today. Let's try another valve. Now, another thing I could do is I could do the candle trick on these. Well, number 2 came out. No problem. Let's see what's going on with number 2. So you can see there's a little bit of the verdigris. That's calcium carbonate that's deposited there from your breath. The oil evaporates, the water evaporates, and what's left? The tiny little particulate solids in the water vapor that your breath is. Try number 1. Wandering around on me. I mean, normally rotors come out, but this is an old non-normal instrument. I'm burning that cork, sure enough. Which means I'm replacing it, sure enough. Which is no big deal because it is, after all, a very replaceable part. Alright, so while I'm at it, with the heat, let's do a little of the penetrating oil. You guys can't smell this. This stuff is stinky. So, what I believe the formulation is, this is another thing you could make at home, actually. There we go. Very flammable. Why? Because it is 1 part acetone and 1 part to 1 part automatic transmission fluid. And you can make that formulation at home. It's an excellent penetrating oil. Well, I'm a big believer in continuing to move on and do as much as you can, so I'm going to extract this cork plate. Absolutely everything on this trumpet has decided suddenly that it's going to defy me. These are the very best, funnest things. So how's everybody else's week? How was this week for you guys? Well, I'll tell you what, these really do resemble Meinl-Schmidt valves, but I'm not sure they are Meinl-Schmidt valves. All right, now one of the things that can loosen threads is tapping. Tapping makes threads loosen. So I'm just going to put my dowel here onto this very recalcitrant screw. I'm going to tap. It's hard for you to see, but the slot for the screwdriver is extremely narrow. It's even narrower than the other side, and it's extremely shallow. In fact, this screw head looks a little different than the other side. Nope. Okay. Do a little more tapping. I mean, in the end, I could just leave it. That would not be fatal to anything that I am doing. Not a thing. To just leave that. And in the end, I might. That might be what I do. But I can't leave these rotors in there. Not a bit of it. So we're off to knock them out one more time with my bearing drift. Yeah, I think I need a bigger hammer. The hammer won't do. Use a bigger hammer, right? Yeah, man. That there is a really stuck rotor. Wow. The bearing plates are moving a little bit, which is not to be wondered at. Really makes me wish I could find that little microscopic tool that, like I said, normally resides right here. There it is. I found it. I'm gonna have to stick that in a cork or something. Let's see if this yeah. That's just a little pin drift. I'm gonna stick that in there. I'm gonna whack that a little bit. Hooray for the pin drift. Problem solved. So the pin drift, it's a little nickel silver drift that goes into the threads all the way down, just about all the way down. And instead of being a long rod hanging out in space where I can lose energy left and right, you hit the top of that and all of your energy goes into driving that rotor out. So hooray, 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 hooray. That's number 3. Putting these parts in my little tray here. Now let's do number 1. Probably should have just went for that pin drift to begin with. Woo, doggies. That be stuck. Note to self, always keep something soft on this side. You didn't see it, but that rotor just shot across the bench. Hit my egg crate, which was nice and soft. Fell down on the towel, which is nice and soft. I didn't plan it that way. I'd like to take credit for that, but oh well. I did not plan it that way. So I'm extracting my pin drift. I'm gonna set it aside. And now we'll take these cork plates off. Yes, Chuck, this is extreme fun. Actually, it is pretty fun for me. All right. Now I'm going to take these cork plates off. You know what? I'm I'll start with the big screwdriver just to get them going. Like I said, really the last thing I want to do is snap off a screw head. It could happen, especially with an old trumpet like this. I thought you were through. There we go. Okay, there's the number 3 cork plate. And you can say I burnt the cork, like I said. Replaceable, very replaceable. It's the whole idea. You should replace your bumpers from time to time. Should you not? Well, I am sorry I had to bang on this as much, but, you know, it was a neglected instrument. So, you know, that's something that a lot of people don't realize, that they neglect their instruments. And it's as bad as damaging your instruments. It's as bad as dropping your instrument or, you know, things like that. Neglect can cause real damage. And the fact that you have to apply extreme measures to get things apart is part of the real damage sometimes. Okay. I only have one thing left to do, if I can do it, and that's get this screw out. I have just been assuming that that screw will come out. Let's try it. That's another thing I was thinking, is if I get the screw out and I move this lever bridge, that's just paraffin wax from before, that it might free this one up. So let's see. Let's see if that theory holds water at all. Well, that screw is just... Plus, this gives me a little insight as to what the other screw looks like. That screw came out just beautifully. So, look at that. You see that? That actually might be the ticket. That might be the ticket. That was the ticket. Check that out, ladies and gents. I have a tiny little bit of bitching on the screw head there, which is easily finished off. No worries. And the lever bridge. In fact, it has a, it's hard to see, it has a pin punch right there. So I'll remember that that's closest to the mouthpiece, and when I put it in my trail, I will set that on the side by valve number 1. So, here we have it. This is the completely disassembled D rotary trumpet, the Scherzer Augsburg Model Professor A. Piekler. Whoever A. Piekler was. If anybody watching has any clue who A. Piekler was, I would love to know. The receiver is stamped 89 or possibly 68. I think that's a 6. I think it's a 68. I do not know what that means. If you know, let me know. But really, this little trumpet is just in, as I said before, this little trumpet is just in fabulous shape. It looks ugly, but don't worry about the looks. Don't worry about all that tarnish, folks. There's not a dent on it. The guy who put it in my hands assured me that this thing plays bigger than any D trumpet he's ever played. It has the rotary valve so it can have a big long lead pipe, unlike the top action rotary valve, so you can have a big long lead pipe like a piston trumpet. And I'm just really excited about this. So there we are. That's going to go in the ultrasonic tank, and in about an hour it's going to be all reassembled, clean, and looking great. That's about it. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you my lovely moosh yet again. I'm hoping you're all having a terrific week and you got something fun planned for the weekend. I do. More work. That's fun, right? And that's about it for this very casual stream of the Brass Bench. I didn't give any of the particulars before. I'm Dave Weiner. This is the Brass Bench. You can find out all kinds of stuff on our Facebook page. That's how you're watching us right now. That's how I do the casual streams. I don't know if I'm going to have, if or when I'm going to have some of the longer episodes. I have lost my director and producer, Adam, to marriage. he got married, moved away, and of course, I love my son Adam, and I wish him all the best. It sounds like it's turning out to be a very, very good situation for him. I'm really thrilled for Adam. And but he was the guy doing my streams that would feed into YouTube or into Facebook with the excellent software and camera and all that, cameras and microphones and all that sort of stuff. So for now, it's going to be me streaming on Facebook. So you can find us here. I have a website, www.thebrassbench.com. You have to have that definite article in there, thebrassbench.com. It's set up like a blog post. You can go there. All the episodes are on there. You're going to see this episode there probably later this evening once I get it uploaded to the website. You can send me an email to you guys, YOUGUYS, at thebrassbench.com, and ask questions if you want to make suggestions, you want to, tell me that you love my haircut or whatever, and you can get a hold of us that way. You can get a hold of us through the Facebook page, which you're watching me on right now. If you're watching live this lovely Friday afternoon, 7th of April, it's 5:13 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time, and I'm going to be signing off in just a minute. But do keep in touch, so for my co-host, Chris Cromer, who joins me from time to time, Chris is the owner of a minor tune-up in Wilmington, Delaware. A minor tune-up sponsors the Brass Bench. My company, Brass Arts Unlimited, sponsors the Brass Bench. And we're also sponsored in part by Medlin Horns. Jacob Medlin makes custom double horns in Greensboro, North Carolina. Beautiful craftsmanship. That's about it. I hope you guys have a terrific weekend. I'm going to sign off and keep in touch. Let me know if there's anything else that you'd like to see, anything else you'd like to know from the Brass Bench. Take care.